It started with a locked bedroom door and a man standing in front of it, looking nervous. Not just nervous, panicked. I came home early from work that day, a rare half shift. I was tired, but happy. The wedding was coming up. The dress was tucked away, pristine and waiting, like a quiet promise. And I was engaged to the man I loved. At least, I thought I was. Until I saw him, my fiancé, nearly trip over himself trying to stop me from walking into our bedroom. He stepped in front of me, his voice sharp and rushed, eyes flicking to his phone, texting someone so fast his hands were shaking. I pushed past him, and that's when I saw her, his mother, wearing my wedding dress. She stood in front of my mirror, twisting at the waist like she was in some kind of bridal boutique, admiring herself in the very dress I had saved for. The one I dreamed about. The one I planned to wear the day I married her son. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I pulled out my phone and took a picture. She gasped. My fiancé rushed in behind me. They both started talking at once, pleading, explaining, making excuses. But none of it mattered. I was done listening. I told her she had 3 days to pay me for a new wedding dress, or I would show that photo to the entire family. Suddenly, it was me who was being cruel. Not the woman who had badgered me for weeks about the dress, offering money, $100, like it was some cheap costume, to just try it on. Not the woman who waited until I wasn't home, who conspired with her son to sneak into our room and parade around in my dress. No. Apparently, I was the villain. She started crying. She left the house in tears. And my fiancé? He turned on me. He said I was overreacting, that it wasn't a big deal, that his mom just loved wedding dresses, that she didn't mean any harm. But that's the thing about harm. You don't have to mean it for it to cut deep. He said I was treating her like an enemy, that I was being petty, that I was threatening her, that I needed to wake up. But I was awake, more awake than I'd ever been. Because in that moment, I realized that it wasn't just about a dress. It wasn't just about one boundary being crossed. It was about respect, and I had none left. Let me take you back, just a little. I bought the dress with my own money, $3,000, every penny earned, saved, and counted. It was the dress I never thought I'd afford, the one I tried on and burst into tears over, the good kind, the kind that told me this was the one. I kept it safe, hung it in our closet with a garment bag and quiet reverence. I wouldn't even let myself try it on too many times, afraid I'd ruin the magic. And from the moment she saw it, my future mother-in-law was obsessed. She brought it up constantly, at dinners, over texts. Once, in front of other people, she joked about how she'd look better in it than me. I laughed it off, but something in her tone didn't feel like a joke. When she offered to pay me just to try it on, I finally told her, enough. No, this is my dress, my day. Apparently, she took that as a challenge. The day she wore it behind my back, she didn't ruin the fabric. She didn't stain it. The zipper wasn't broken, but the damage, it was total. Because now, when I look at that dress, I don't see myself walking down the aisle. I see her, twisting at the mirror, smiling like a bride, in a dress that wasn't hers to touch. And what made it worse, what made it unforgivable, was that he let it happen. My fiancé, the man I trusted, the man I thought would protect me, who stood between me and our room because he knew what I was about to see, who had already chosen whose feelings mattered more. He yelled at me. He told me I was treating his mother like dirt, that I was being unreasonable, that I had no right to ask for a new dress, even though I no longer wanted to wear the one she violated. He left. He went to stay with her, and for 3 days, silence. Then he called. And what he said was worse than anything I expected. He offered to pay for a new dress, but only if I agreed to a list of conditions. I was to hand him my phone so he could delete the photo himself. I was to swear that I had no copies. I was to apologize to his mother. And finally, and this is the one that chilled me, I was to log out of Facebook and leave the family group chat for a full month. No explanation, no warning, just disappear. It wasn't an offer. It was a control tactic. And that's when I saw the truth. This wasn't about the dress. It was about power, about punishment. He didn't want to make things right. He wanted me to shut up. He wanted me to surrender. I haven't responded yet, because deep down, I know this isn't fixable with money. I'm not just mourning a dress. I'm mourning the illusion of the life I thought I was building. And in its place is something cold and calculated and deeply lonely. People in my family say I'm being dramatic, that it was just a dress, that it wasn't worth this kind of escalation. But let me ask you something. When a boundary is broken so clearly, so intentionally, and the person who should defend you, the person who promised to stand by you, joins in, what's left? A dress can be replaced, but trust? That's not something you sew back together. So, am I the asshole? For saying, no, you don't get to wear my dress. For saying, if you cross this line, there will be consequences. For saying, I want out. Not because I'm cruel, but because I'm done being hurt. You tell me. Because right now, it feels like I lost more than a dress. I lost a future I thought was mine. And the worst part? I'm starting to think that might be the best thing that ever happened to me. This story isn't about a dress. It's about the quiet ways people show us who they really are. Not with words, but with choices. This woman set a boundary. She said no, and not just once. Over and over again. Calmly, firmly, respectfully. But her future family didn't just cross that line. They ran over it, together. And when she caught them, they didn't apologize. They punished her for noticing. Sometimes, the hardest part of growing up isn't breaking up with a person. It's breaking up with the story you were telling yourself. That they'll come around. That love is enough. That you're overreacting. You're not. When someone shows you, they will choose their comfort over your dignity. Believe them. To everyone listening, ask yourself, if this happened to you, would you still wear the dress? Would you still say, I do? Or would you finally say, this isn't love? Let us know what you would have done in the comments below. And remember, in this vault, the truth always finds a voice. This is AITA Story Vault. Thanks for listening.